Roll call, I'd just like to mention that we amended the bylaws, I guess, last year to allow remote participation. And Ms. Remack, I believe, is online and can hear us, and she will participate in the roll call as well as participate in the meeting from Jackson. So we'll have the roll call now.
Pat Dorr,
Here.
Dion Jones,
Here.
Janice Lewis,
Here.
Kimberly Remack,
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Diane Singer,
Here.
Donnie Singh,
Here.
Steve Stratton.
Okay, you've received in your packets the minutes of the January 14th, 2025 meeting. Are there any corrections or additions needed to the minutes? If not, do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Jones to approve the minutes of the January 14th meeting. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Ms. Singer. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Then the minutes have been approved. Under new business, we have the final plat for Alnami minor lot subdivision submitted by Bob Farley, Farley Surveying, on behalf of property owners Muhammad Ali Alnami and Yazin, oh my goodness, Al-Manastur. The request is to create two lots from a 5.18 plus or minus acre subject property zone AR agriculture residential and located at the northwest corner of College Road and Highway 305, known as 8890 College Road. We'll now have the staff presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Planning Commissioners, before you is a request to consider the final plat for, this is a minor subdivision lot. The property, in terms of acreage, as you did mention, is 5.18 acres, located at the northwest intersection of Highway 305 and College Road. There is a house existing on this 5.18 acres piece of property at this time. It is zoned AR agricultural residential, which requires that lots be minimum 1 acre in size. The property owner proposes to subdivide the property into two lots. Lot 1 will be 2.77 acres and lot 2 will be 2.42 acres. It's my understanding that this is kind of an internal family division. The purpose, I think, is to construct another house at about this location. The plat as presented meets all requirements of the AR zoning district. I wish to point out the front yard setback requirement in the AR district is minimum 50 feet. In this particular case, we're measuring it from the edge of this flag, so to speak, for lot 1. That gives us the 50.3 feet on that particular lot. The city engineer reviewed this plat, and we have additional right-of-way dedication along Highway 305. That is 0.15 acres of that property is being dedicated.13 the right-of-way on Highway 305 is 40 feet. The developer, the property owner, is dedicating additional almost 13 feet to give that 53 feet for the 5-lane extension in future. So these basically align with what will be dedicated for Old River Farms, the new subdivision in future. So that basically aligns with that new street to the north. We have a requirement in the code that all new driveways will have to be paved. So you certainly are going to use this driveway for both lots. The city engineer reviewed these. There is enough driveway, a right-of-way along College Road, street frontage along College Road, if a driveway were so needed. Staff recommends approval of the plat subject to these conditions 1 to 6. Condition 5, as I did mention, driveways on lots 1 and 2 must be paved. Driveway on lot 1 is already paved. And if there were to be any driveway on lot 2, that would require MDOT's approval. I don't think MDOT is going to grant that approval because they have access on College. But we cannot prohibit them from applying to MDOT if they wanted to. So that concludes staff's presentation. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions of staff?
I had one I was confused on. Are they gonna use the same entrance off of College for both lots? Or are they gonna have a new entrance off College for the new lot? in front?
There is no development proposed right now on Lot 2, so we cannot make that determination. If they propose a development there, then the city engineer will make that determination.
Okay, gotcha. Because if they wanted to use that same entrance for both lots, they would have to have an access easement between the two, right?
Yes,
Okay.
you will need that as an easement, which they can create using private deeds, private, if you wanted to.
Any other questions of staff? If not, I see Mr. Farley here. Do you wish to represent the application?
How are y'all this evening? Bob Farley, 235 West Chulahoma Avenue, Holly Springs, Mississippi. And Mike, as he goes by, cutting out the lot for his brother.
Okay. Any questions? No questions, and thank you. All right, we're not required to have a public hearing on final plat, so I'll bring it back to the commissioners for any discussions or motions on this item.
I make a motion to approve.
We have a motion by Ms. Singer to approve the
Second.
application. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a second by Ms. Lewis. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Then it is approved, the application is approved. Thank you. All right, we have application number 2 and application number 3. Looks like they're kind of combined together and they're requesting to be tabled. If it's okay, I will read the two simultaneously and then we can have one motion to table them at one time. So application number 2 is an application for a zoning map amended submitted by Cliff McLemore Ferguson LLC on behalf of property owner Dolphine McGee. The request is to rezone .74 plus or minus acres from O Office District to R3 Planned Residential District and to approve the project text and associated preliminary development plan for West Branch Townhomes. The subject property is located at the northwest corner of West Branch Road and Goodman Road East, known as Lot 23 of the Hoover subdivision, and the applicant requests application to be tabled. The next item is item number 3, which is an application for a final plat submitted by Cliff McLemore Ferguson LLC on behalf of the property owner Dolphine McGee. The request is to subdivide .74 plus or minus acres into 5 lots to create the West Branch Townhomes. The property is currently zoned O Office District and is requested in a separate application to be rezoned to R3 Planned Residential District. The subject property is located at the northwest corner of West Branch Road and Goodman Road East, known as Lot 23 of the Hoover subdivision. And once again, the applicant requests this application to also be tabled. So we need I guess a motion and
Motion.
and approval from the commissioners to table these 2 applications.
Motion to table both applications.
All right, we've got a motion from Ms. Remack to table both applications. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Jones. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Then the 2 items are tabled until the next meeting. Okay, the item number 4 is an application for a final plat for Old River Farm subdivision, Phase 2, submitted by Nick Croonan, Civil Link, on behalf of Mark Matthews, John Mark LLC property owner. The request is to divide 12.69 plus or minus acres into 38 residential lots and 2 common open spaces. The subject property is on R3 Planned Residential District and is located on the north side of College Road, just west of Highway 305. We'll now have the staff presentation.
Mr. Chairman, Planning Commissioners, before you is a request to consider the final plat. So there's a final plat for Phase 2 of Old River Farms subdivision. The final plat for phase 1 was already approved. Following your recommendation, it was approved by the Board of Aldermen and recorded. This area with green lines showing these lots, that is the area for phase 1 of the subdivision. Phase 2, which is under consideration today, is this area designated here in yellow, constituting 12.69 acres total. It has access both from College Road, you could come in through this Mary McCoy Drive to access phase 2, or through Jackson Lane. And it also has access from Highway 305, which is like the main entrance into the subdivision for folks going south. There is no left turn into this subdivision at this intersection. So there is right in, right out only. That was required by the Board of Aldermen at the time of the approval of the project text and the preliminary plat. Their intent being for Old River Farm to share the same entrance with Highland Lake subdivision, which will be constructed on this particular piece of property in future. The property, as I did indicate, is zoned R3 planned residential district for Old River Farm. The proposal before you will be to create 38 detached single-family residential lots in this particular area. There will be 2 common open spaces. These are just green spaces. This particular area is pretty steep, not very good for constructing a house there. So this will just be open space areas, green space. The applicant proposes to dedicate 2 new street sections. So Jackson Lane, this particular section, and Mary McCoy from here right up to Jackson Lane. A new street is being proposed, that is Stacy Cove, from this intersection to the end of that turnaround. Water, sewer infrastructure, all of those have been put in place. Street lights are already up. As a matter of fact, those street names are already up, although they've not yet been approved. For Jackson Lane, that has been approved. Mary McCoy, that has been approved. Stacy Lane, that still needs to be approved and recorded with this plat. The project text was initially approved May 17, 2022, and then revised in December 2023 to allow front-loading garages on cottage lots, which are in this area, decorative garage doors on every home, and to prohibit on-street parking in this subdivision. That prohibition for on-street parking applies to this phase 2 of the subdivision as well. The preliminary plat was approved in October 2022 for both phases 1 and 2, and this final plat aligns with the preliminary plat. The covenants and restrictions for both phase 1 and 2, as proposed, were recorded in July of last year, and it had a stipulation in there that the houses in this subdivision will have to be minimum 2,000 square feet. This is the final plat as proposed. It meets subdivision regulations and zoning requirements. This hatch out area at this particular location, that's where you have the driveway, the public street going in that will connect to Highland Lake and be shared by both subdivisions. That is being dedicated as a public right-of-way, not as a private easement. Staff recommends approval subject to these conditions 1 to 8. Condition number 4 that you had on the plat, staff is proposing to eliminate that condition. It basically stated that there should be a name change the name of the street from the intersection of the proposed Stacy Cove to Jackson Lane, from Mary McCoy Drive to Maya Rose Drive. 911, that's basically the street from this intersection to this location. 911 has taken another look at this and said it's okay to have that name. Usually their policy is if a street goes from east to west and then turns from north to south, it needs to have a new name once it makes that turn. But in this case, because there are very few lots in the east to west direction, they are allowing the north to south to maintain the name. So that's why we're taking that particular condition out. That concludes staff's presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of staff? If no questions, is there someone here to represent the application? And I don't see anyone here to represent the application, so I'll now just present it to the for any discussion or any motions on this to the commissioners?
I make a motion.
I make a
Oh, go
motion.
ahead.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I make a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Jones to approve the
And
application.
I'll second
And
that.
we have a second by Ms. Remack, subject to the staff recommendations indicating item number 4 is taken out. So we have that. Any other discussion on this? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? And no one opposes, so the application is approved. And item number 4. Any other business to be brought before us today?
No, sir, 30 minutes.
None today. Okay, look out now. We need a recommendation to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
All right, we got a motion by Ms. Singer to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Jones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Then we are now adjourned. And Ms. Remack, good to hear from you.
Well, thank you, and I just want to commend John Stout for setting this up, because I could see you and I could hear you, and it all worked perfectly,
Right.
and I really appreciate that,
Well,
having me
well,
be
that's
part tonight.
Well, we can hear you well, so we can't see you, but we can hear you. So anyway, continue your good work there with the legislature in Jackson. So
Thank you, sir.
we're glad to see you when you come back. Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.